I know a preacher. He comes right here.
Is that about the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right into the grade. Society. I was actually yeah, that's just right. Know about
The oldest guy here.
Really? Does that mean I'm the smartest?
In your case, no.
I hate honest people.
I know.
Did you see the pictures, Charlie?
I looked, I've been looking at all those others, you know, come like that. I come in, planning and zoning.
Well, these are pictures of the meeting we had at the head last week.
Call the meeting to order. This will be the Lebanon City Council committee agenda, March 3rd, 2025. Roll call, Washington. Here. Orange. Here. Woody.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here.
Trinka.
Here.
Valkey.
Here.
And you're here too, and I'm here. That was Bennett and Farrell right here. Time for audience participation. To speak, please come up to the railing. Be sure you speak up so that you're picked up by the owl. And members of the council will not interact with you at this time. You just get to talk about your topic. You'll have a 5-minute limit. So, go ahead.
AJ Dotney, I'm here on behalf of the Chamber and the Brick Street Merchants. I'm here tonight to request to have a food truck at the upcoming car shows. The streets will already be closed for the event. It will be the same food truck that has been there the past 2 years. The organizer from the car shows, the Lakers, have requested the food truck. And with the limited amount of food vendors that we have on the street, the food truck is beneficial. Not sure why we do this every year where we have to get approved for this one event. Well, I mean, multiple events, but for the car shows, but we do, so I'm here.
AJ, are they gonna put it same place by Dr. Jazz?
Yeah, same place, same truck, everything will be the same as the past 2 years.
I want to remind the council that you're not to interact during the audience. You have your chance at all of them. Yes. Just a reminder. Oh, yes, come on up.
I know we're on the agenda, but I just wasn't sure. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Bethany Williams, and this is Christina and Robbie and Dennis and Ronald. We're all owners of Creekside Bar and Grill. We're opening up at the Old Schwann's building at 800 McAllister. I know we're on the agenda, but thought I'd just introduce myself, kind of say what we're here for. The county is deemed we are not allowed to use the septic system that we currently have in place that was there when Schwann's was open, and we're just having we're trying to brainstorm on what we can all come together here to get the sewer closer to our property line. So that's just kind of what we're here for. So just seeing if anyone's got any ideas, or the county is saying the septic is not usable at that location because of the food and drinks, and we expect pretty large crowds coming. We're going to partner with McHenry and Hempsey and volleyball. We're going to be pretty busy. I think a septic system they think would just be overloaded. So that's what we're here for. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Audience, this is your chance to speak during meeting.
You can speak on the agenda when you bring something up, right?
No.
Well, I'm here because of the, I'm Price, LaFurl Price. And you're gonna shut me down, I can't speak on the agenda. I'm here because of what I heard was on the agenda, something about gun right restriction. At least that's what's going around. And I'm a avid gun participant in hunting, sportsman, the whole 9 yards. So I do bow hunting, I do shotgun hunting, do it all. And, I don't know what brought it up. But anytime my rights, I think they're gonna be infringed on, I try to stand up for them, so that's why I'm here. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, I need to pay a water bill. All right.
Thank you. Anybody else, be sure to come up to the gate so we can be sure you're being picked up. Okay. Moving on, alderperson, anybody have anything you want to bring up? Go ahead, Ms. Washington.
Yes, I wasn't here last week, but I was told what was going on. And I feel that we were voted into office by the people, and we are supposed to support the people. And I feel that with the salaries, they should be frozen. All salaries should be frozen for at least a year. We have other things that we need to do for our city.
I just want-
And I feel that the things that need to be done for our city should come first.
The salary issue was a closed,
I understand that, George, and it will stay closed. I'm through with it.
but don't bring it up in a public, in this meeting. Anything that's discussed in closed session should not be discussed openly.
I
in the
only
committee.
mentioned salary. I didn't mention what was said.
Okay,
And don't point your finger at me.
but I'm not trying to get an argument with you. I just want to be sure, because we cannot discuss those items. And the way that they are discussed sometimes tells people what was discussed and how it was said. So any closed meeting item cannot be brought up.
Well, I would like to have an executive meeting next week
Okay,
about this.
we'll make sure that's just tell, Luann, make sure it's on the agenda. My guess is we're gonna have executive meetings for the next several meetings.
Yeah, there's executive meetings next time.
Okay. Oh, and also, I wanted to know, which I don't know if maybe you might know, Luann, why it's taking the attorney so long to send a letter to the ambulance people?
He's been out of town. I have no idea. He's been out of town. Oh, he's been out of town and sick for like 2 weeks. Sick 1 week and out of town this week. That I know of.
Follow up with them, that's all. Any other alderperson comments? Okay, moving on. The next item on the agenda, cemetery. Is there anything from cemeteries on the agenda?
Was that?
Anything from cemetery?
Yes,
Okay,
it's on the agenda.
no, there's nothing on the agenda. Do you have something that you want to discuss?
Yeah, I sure do. The medallion is in the last stages of completion and should be installed maybe this week. I don't know. I hadn't talked to Carrie. But it'll be up there. It's the thing that says 1810, which is about the first time anybody was buried there that I was able to statistically find out. So everybody will know anybody living in 1810? I guess not, so they don't have anybody.
You'd be the closest one.
Yeah, I'm the closest one. I did a perusal Sunday before it rained, to see of all the decorations and all the things that were out where the cut grass. Most of them appear to be, removed. Cody said he was gonna go out there tomorrow with a metal umbrella and, because there's supposed to be hail tomorrow, for those who are not in the know. And check it out and see if everything has been taken down. So that'll be done. Cody indicated that the grass inhibitor that he used last year to spray around the monuments to save us having to trim around the monuments as much as in the past was he was planning on using it again this year, which will be reflected in the budget. So, but that's all that I have at this time.
Thank you. I have nothing from ordinance. Public property. Anything on the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Streets and alleys.
Yes, we're just discussing and recommending the Chamber of Commerce request for the upcoming street closure for obviously the year. Had a citizen reach out to me today saying that we close these streets way too much and then too many vendors are blocking her driveway, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's not the case. Nobody could just really come here on a Monday and say, hey, I want the street closed Saturday. It don't work like that. If they're listening, so be it. If not, that's fine. But the next event is May 3rd for the May Market, closed off from Monroe to 4. Obviously, all the safety protocols are going to effect. We'll make sure street closing signs are out, cones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll try to make sure we have all our handicap spots accessible. Again, we don't control some of the public. Let's be real. A lot of citizens out here do not use common sense. We do not control that. But if you do have problems, please reach out to myself, Cody, or other people, or Miss AJ herself. If you need to get our number after this, or even Miss Luann herself. We're all very approachable. We have numbers, yes.
We do have a correction to that
Yes, ma'am.
one. It's, the Porsche one in June is changed to its rain date
Okay.
because of a conflict, so that will change to the 21st. Same time frame and everything, but
But our next up closing, street closure will be 3 May for the May Market. If you'd like some more info on the side, please get with me after. I would love to talk to you. That's about all I really have for streets and alleys as of right now.
Okay, anything else before I move on? Okay, we're gonna, the next item is discussing the possibility of moving forward with TIF 2. That's technically ordinance, but we put it in, unfinished business because we've been discussing the TIF.
Yeah, it's been,
I thought there was this thing about,
the discharging them.
Oh,
amendment.
We're doing firearms?
I forgot, I didn't see that one. I missed it. Okay, an update, move forward on, as far as I'm concerned on the discharging of firearms. Is I've not been able to do the research. The research I had done has a number of cities have an ordinance on the discharging. It has nothing at all to do with the First Amendment, which is possessing them.
Okay,
Second.
was that brought up because there's an issue here in town?
It was brought up to me by somebody, I think Luann mentioned it.
well, it was mentioned to me because, the only thing we have in our ordinances is discharging an air rifle. So, you probably need one for the police officers to be able to, do their due diligence when they hear gunfire.
Oh,
That was something along those lines. That's why I had you look into it to see what other towns were doing.
Yeah,
so is it possible that, we're talking about something that's not a problem?
we don't know that's not a problem because we
Don't
have,
we? Don't,
if the
I mean,
police
here in
have,
town.
if the police have not been getting complaints, then we don't know. We don't get a report from the police department.
But we need to make sure that whatever we put in there on that ordinance, like Mr. Prince was saying, another citizen over here, I'm in the same boat as him. I brought it up in the last time we talked about this, I think 2 months ago. I will continue to bow hunt my backyard. I will walk observe my safety rules at every given point. If I don't need a FOID card to, shoot my compound bow in my backyard at my shooting block, because we are in the Midwest, this is Illinois. It's gonna happen. No cop is gonna come to my backyard and say, let me take your bow from you. Some of the ordinance that we wanna propose moving forward with it, what things are we moving forward with? I understand we can't get an AR-15 and go right here on the brick streets and start shooting at the targets. That's common sense. We don't use that in Lebanon, but that's what that needs to be said. It needs to be put in here.
Believe it or not, if somebody did that, we don't have an ordinance to stop them, the AR-15.
That's what
And I understand that's what we gotta work on or whatever. It would help if the lawyer was here, but that's another subject. But anyways, moving on, I think we have to fine tooth it of what we are putting in this ordinance.
It will be
Well, the
fine.
reason why I put moving forward is because it was 2 months ago, we haven't done anything on it.
Yes, ma'am.
And people are on, and I hate to use Facebook, because I really don't go there, but they're saying, they're going, have you heard that? Did you hear that gunshot? Blah, blah, blah. And when, they ask the police, they go, well, we didn't hear it. And nobody, there's nothing in the ordinance says that you can't fire your gun off in town and, we just need some clarification on it.
I think we were
That's
primarily talking about the time in St. Louis at big events. Labor Day or Armistice Day, people were firing projectiles into the sky, and when they do come down, by the way. And they have hit people and injured them. I think that's what we were talking about, mainly firearms cartridges, you know, things that make noise and send projectiles up in the air, and they come down and hit somebody. That's, I think, what we were talking about. I don't think we were talking about bow hunters, other types of projectiles. I think it's the St. Louis probably has one. I'm sure other communities do too. That maybe we could sample ours or at least copy some of their information and adopt it. I think it's a simple thing to do. I don't think it's very complicated, but that's in my uneducated point of view.
It is a little complicated. I don't have the example I brought in that's from Carlisle or Trenton. That one even says that gave permit, it stated to the effect that you can't discharge a weapon within the city limits. That's all it really said. It was real short. Can't discharge it, but if you are protecting yourself or somebody, you can. You have the right to use it for protection. And police officers have the right to use their firearms. It not only, it really clarified a lot because it not only said you can't discharge a weapon within the city limits. But it also says, but here are reasons you can discharge a weapon. And personal protection, and if you had a firing range and it was approved, etc., that's fine.
I believe
That's-
that's what brought this
can't
up,
have
is someone wanted a firing range
In city
in
limits.
city limits.
Right.
So, and I also believe and I could be corrected, I'm not 100% on this, but I do believe the state statute covers discharging firearms. Do believe there are rules already in place that Lebanon can cite you for reckless discharge of a firearm in city limits. So I don't know
Well,
why
I'm
we,
getting conflicting reports.
I get that, but I don't know if we want to spend the money with the attorneys to write an ordinance that the
It
state.
doesn't cost us anything more than we're already paying for them to write the ordinance.
Yeah,
That's included in the.
makes it
I find it redundant to write a city code that matches the state code. That's all I have.
Well, yeah, we don't do that, but I could not find anything in the state code about discharging a firearm in the city limits.
Gotcha.
Mr. Price, since you brought this up earlier, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I wanna say, I heard some good stuff with Cody, that clarified it about the firing range and the gentleman over here. I'm with him, but my thing is, I didn't know what it was about. I see it, a lot of people just wanna, tell you what you can and do with not only firearms, but a lot of other things, okay? But if somebody breaks into my house, I'm sorry, I'm a preacher. I'm not turning the other cheek when you come in my house.
No, sir.
I'm gonna turn your cheek. Okay, so that's how I feel about it. And you ain't gonna tell me I can't shoot, cause I'm gonna already do it. And then you're gonna have to explain to me why I can't. So, just like that, I'm not only looking out for me, I'm looking out for other people.
Right.
I'm not for playing games, you can't have a firearm unless you have a permit. Permits are actually illegal. Courts have deemed them illegal to make someone pay for a gun permit because it's undue stress on a person. And the Constitution said you can't unduly stress somebody to not be able to own a firearm. So if they have to pay for a permit, it's undue stress, and it's collapsing now. So, yeah, make sure you get it right.
Right, there's nothing in that ordinance that would say anything about possessing.
I'm just all over.
It was just discharging it,
Thank you.
just discharging it, so that it would be, and it would not be a felony or a misdemeanor. It would be an ordinance violation, so it would not be anything on anybody's record. If it happens, I don't know if it's gonna happen, because I got, room behind my house if I wanted to set up and fire with, a bow and arrow or whatever, I got room, but there are some people who don't consider their neighbors.
If a 12-point buck walked across your front lawn, would you fire your firearm at it?
Were you talking to me?
Yes.
Well, I know how to call him in right into my house. Come on in, buddy. He comes in. He can't resist. No, I wouldn't do that. I have ethics.
Well, that's the kind of thing we were talking about too, is
Yeah.
that shooting, the game,
But it depends on it also.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I had a neighbor, Harmon, who would shoot and kill raccoons, so we can get rid of them
I don't blame you.
sometime. And I had a rabid raccoon on my back deck floating around. And I ended up calling the police department because nobody else had handled it. Officer came over from 5 feet away, missed it. Then it got wounded, it was wounded, they crawled underneath the deck, I didn't know that and died.
I'll know later, didn't you?
Yeah, we found out really later, but there are things that we have to work on this one here and get the language right. So it protects those, because without an ordinance that says you can't discharge it, if somebody were to discharge a
Illinois Code and Statute for reckless fire, discharge of a gun,
reckless discharge,
State of Illinois.
state of Illinois.
State, yep.
Supersedes city
I've
of
got
Illinois.
it too.
Person commits reckless discharge of firearm by disarming a firearm in reckless manner which endangers the bodily safety of an individual.
right?
I think that would constitute for the city, so we can adopt 720 ILCS 524-1.5.
What
That was-
supposed to do.
We have to make reference
Have to have
to,
something.
Well, that's what I would recommend.
and then, but that only takes care of a firearm, doesn't do anything with bows or crossbows. They're still a weapon, discharging a weapon.
Like somebody else said, people
No.
practice in their backyard with their.
Yeah, I know. But it's only gonna be a problem if something happens to somebody because of that. Believe it or not, our police department would not have any ordinance to use to charge them with bodily injury to somebody else.
Yeah,
Accidental.
that would be assault then in that case. I mean, you have Boy Scouts that.
Well,
I think we can talk about this all night and tomorrow and a few days after that. Let's adopt an ordinance, present it, vote it down or vote it in or modify it. We can talk for all night
Yeah.
into the future.
I will bring back next month an ordinance that should be generic enough that everybody will be happy with it. Cause we know what happens. The police department cannot be on every property,
Better make it sound good before that election.
Not everybody.
So you better make it sound good before that election.
Not everybody gonna be happy.
Well, maybe I'll bring it in May.
Topics, please.
So we're really not doing nothing.
Yeah,
Let's just go to unfinished business too then.
okay, unfinished
Yeah.
business is the, moving forward with the TIF two. Do we wanna move forward with it? Because that's gonna require, ordinances to be written.
Could you refresh my memory on this?
TIF two?
Yeah.
You got a map that came in the mail,
Yeah,
and we have an area of the city,
Present.
we have an area of the city where there are businesses and other enterprises would like to go in. Problem is if they buy the property and they start to work on it. And we decide, wait a minute, you realize that could be covered by a tip and you could be getting a refund on your property taxes, right?
How a tip works.
George, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass this around to the audience out there because probably a lot of people don't know what TIF stands for.
Right, taxes, basically it allows for a rebate of property taxes to the property owner for certain things they can do to their property if they're in that TIF district. Like they could redevelop vacant buildings, they could
No,
find,
no, stop where you
No,
are.
stop.
Let Charlie do it.
okay,
That's,
Charlie, go
that's
ahead.
not it.
Are you gonna explain it to?
Yeah, that's the reason let's pass this around. The TIF stands for tax increment financing. And a lot of things that projects that typically include redevelopment or substandard, obsolete or vacant buildings. Financing public infrastructure improvements, including streets, sewer, water, and in declining areas. Cleaning up polluted areas, improving the viability of downtown business districts, rehabilitating historic properties, providing infrastructure needed to develop a site for new industrial or commercial use. And I passed this map around because it shows what we have is what was tip number one,
Oh, into number one.
was tip number one. And it also shows what we're trying to propose tonight, the tip number two. So if you just want to kind of look at that. And I'll go
You're
on.
trying to expanding, are you trying to expand the district?
Well, we're making a whole another one.
No,
Okay.
We've got tip one and amended, that was a small area where the grocery store went into. Then we amended that one and expanded it to down the streets and stuff, so, you know, like when the other side of the street, you could use it. Now they'd like to do something out with the industrial area out that way to incentivize people to develop out there. And that's what a TIF's used for. It's for things that are, it's called ground and down, okay? So anything on top of the ground, like your streets and stuff, anything underneath like sewers, water, that kind of stuff. What happens is that the tax incentive finance is that it allows the person, say you have a low income piece of property. It allows the person to come in and say, hey, I'd like to use the TIF to put in the sewer system and the roads or whatever. And then, but they have to build the building and everything. They pay for that, but that money that they can, once they build it down in ground and down, because they have to do it, they have to pay for it. But they get money back later on when they present all their receipts. They turn them in, they get okayed. Then the county sends a TIF money back to them to pay for that stuff. And they get to do that for,
23.
over the course of
23 years.
23 years or so. So they might have spent $100,000, say. And they get, what they do is they pay their taxes, their normal taxes, and then they get half their normal taxes back when they turn in that stuff.
Contract.
Yeah.
Not necessarily half, but whatever.
Well, yeah, whatever the contract is, because we draw that up, but we try to give 50-50, but, then 50% of that goes into a TIF fund for the city and say 50% goes back to the guy. We get to use the 50% of the TIF money each year. We can save it until we have a project that we need to do in that TIF area and we can pay for it. Then we're not using taxpayers' money necessarily out of the general fund to develop business areas. So that's what, we also have
Business district.
an enterprise zone that also covers things, and the people that wanna build in there, they get their taxes on the materials that they're using, they get that abated. So these are all things that we're trying to put into place to help develop areas that need to be developed.
Can I ask who determines this, the zones here, like who determined this?
That was done by a kind of study group called Moran,
Oh, okay,
that they're trying to, what happens if you look at the one, if you look at TIF number 1 on there, the TIF number 2, part of 1 is on the
Okay.
next page or
On the yellow.
yep,
yeah, the TIF 1 and the TIF 2 has to be what's called contiguous. Everything in that text, in that has to touch
okay.
the first TIF.
Cause I think that's another part of us being here is, so this is our property, you know, right across. We've been in talks with the owner here, about possibly at some point developing this lot too. So that's what we just wonder who determines the TIF because, you know,
It's
if
across.
you wanna develop across the street, it'd be great to bring it, you
We
know.
are wanting to.
So-
Yeah, no, it's proposed. What we're
Yeah.
trying to do
Okay.
is working on moving the TIF 2 forward. We already have the TIF 1 that was established in 2018.
Okay,
But we're looking at developing
would you come across
along
the street?
and
Yeah,
across,
down there.
yeah.
Okay, cause that's, cause that's our thoughts for like,
Yeah.
who are going
You
forward
didn't have
too, is
that
just
colored
like,
in.
if we were to buy this, it'd be nice to just have.
It's
you
not
know,
colored in on their
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, that part's not included on the TIF two.
no, cause we're here, but this is the one we would like to continue to develop this way.
We
City
told
limits.
them to take it all. the way across.
This is just the beginning of the process.
They're one of
There
the
will
same,
be,
it's not on
there will
their map.
be a public hearing on it.
What's that?
And it's not marked in, no, on
Yeah.
the map.
Yeah, it's not.
Right here. and there's stories around.
No, right,
Just so you know, the TIF. There's a process.
Yeah.
We'll be doing hearings.
just say right
There's
here.
a chance to make sure that we get it all right.
Right,
We're
And,
wanting to get that in.
but
Yeah, well, that's the boundaries of that black line.
Oh,
Says it's on.
black
Black
lines.
lines.
oh,
Black
so
line.
it's too late for us because we're in it and it's not finished,
If
right?
you look at
In our
the,
current lot.
if you look at the legend, it's kind of
No,
hard.
you
This is
can't,
proposed, right?
okay, wait a
No,
minute.
their property is.
You're not gonna be able to get it because you've already bought the property.
But the next door one,
But,
okay.
yes, anything that's not bought
Because we
right
would like to
now.
develop the whole, you know,
Correct.
Yeah.
Golf course.
yeah, like a little mini golf course, and, you know.
What they're doing.
But-
But stay out of the residential area though.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that explain?
I get your attention, please. We cannot hold a meeting when everybody just talks. This is a meeting and it's not a big conversation.
You understand that
Yeah.
now? Okay.
Thank you.
I'll get back to this. TIF 1 was established in 2018. The cost of TIF 1 at that time was, what total for everything, everything they had was $73,803.59. TIF 2 can be paid for out of the general fund and the cost is $32,000 for what we're wanting to do for TIF number 2. Like somebody mentioned before, the TIF is good for 23 years. It can be extended for 15 years and then another 15 years after that. The report will take 4 to 6 months to complete. It'll take 4 to 6 months to complete the report. And then we can just kind of take it from there, move it forward and see if the council is willing to take that $32,000, which can come out of the general fund. And it can be, what do we got here?
There's gonna be a lot of meetings though about this, isn't it?
Yeah.
It will take time and meetings. And, we're gonna have a lot of time to get the dates, and everything out. Just so everyone understands, the TIF is good for 23 years. If a person goes in the 4th year to do the TIF and wants to use TIF funds for something, in the 4th year of the TIF, they only have TIF refund coming for 19 years. A person goes in the 22nd year of the TIF and wants their tax dollars, they'll only get a rebate on their taxes for 1 year. And the funds they get cannot exceed 50% of this, basically, in the simplest terms, 50% of what they paid. They have to pay their taxes before they get them back, and then they only get about 50% back.
So basically an incentive to get business here.
It's an incentive to get you in here and lets you get some long-term cash rebates. The other thing that we do for everybody's information is the business district. The enterprise zone allows for discounts. There are other things that enterprise zone does, but the basic one there is it allows for the sales tax on all construction material to be waived. There is a business district, and we have to, the business district is another district that can be established. We can have more than one business district. We have to have everybody in the district, doesn't have to be on board, but the council has to vote on it. But in the business district, we can establish grants, loans, all kinds of things that are from the sales tax. The business district charges an additional sales tax, a 1 cent sales tax. That 1 cent goes into a fund, and anybody in the business district, can, even residents can take advantage of it. If there's a residence in the business district, they can take advantage of those funds. And we have right now they're taking applications. They being the committee that's doing this, is taking applications for projects be completed after May, and they can get funds back from that. Actually, they will get funds back. So there are different things we can do. Basically, we're trying to take your tax dollars and the people who are paying the tax dollars, letting it benefit them. And the business district, if a person has a residence and their sidewalk was torn up, need their sidewalk replaced, they can get a grant from.
Hey, George, I think we're getting off track here, so. We're just concerned about the TIF number 2 tonight or whatever.
Right.
If you want to know about the business district and see a map and stuff, you can come up to City Hall. I'm sure Luann or somebody will give you a map and kind of explain it to you. But right now, we're just dealing with TIF number 2 to move that forward.
For 2 months.
So what do you want? You want to move forward with TIF number 2?
Yeah. If everybody's okay with that.
Dale,
And once that is paid off, the $32,000, we take it from the general fund. Once TIF number 2 is established, you can reimburse kind of the general fund with the monies from the TIF number 2.
Okay.
And it's $32,000 for their report.
that's because we'd have to get, was it the company
Moran.
get Moran to do it.
Yeah.
They'll charge us $32,000 for their part of it.
Right.
So,
Everybody okay to move forward with that?
you moving forward?
Okay,
All right,
and that's it for me.
thank you. Let me find my agenda. We're down to any other unfinished business. Okay, moving to new business. Discuss and possible recommendation for the development of the West McAllister area, including connecting existing properties to the established sewer system. That's the other set of maps we received. Who's talking about this? Hey, go ahead, Mayor.
Okay, I'm talking about the location known as Creekside Barn Grill. It's down on McAllister, Route 50. I'm asking the council to listen and think about the possibility. They were going to do, Beth did introduce themselves. It's gonna be a restaurant, a bar, TVs, sports, golf simulators, sand, volleyball. A lot of things, arcade games, gaming machines, family event, well, until 9 PM, and then you gotta be 21. But, it's gonna be a good addition to Lebanon. They do have a septic, and they thought that that septic would work for the location. And they have since found out that's not an option. And, so they are required to get sewer. And from their building to the sewer, which is north of Route 50 in a farmer field, that's 460 feet. 388 feet of the sewer line would be on Creekside's property. Then the other 122 feet going from the edge of the property to the sewer line would be 122 feet. And that is where I'm asking the council to consider having the city pay for. So it does take a little looking into, talking about how it will be paid. But I think that if we are going to bring businesses to Lebanon, there are sometimes we have to do something like this.
We don't have an approximate cost right now, do we?
We do not.
And it's a building that's city, it's annexed city too, right?
I'm sorry.
It's annexed within the
It
city.
is a part of the city. Yes, Creekside is within the city limits. And the 388 feet on their property is, they are responsible for announcing.
Is it 88 or 38? 'Cause it says 38.
It's all, these are all approximately,
Okay.
so.
It's a 460 approximate, 388, 122,
Is,
roughly.
is part of or most of that 122 feet inside the business district? I thought we put the business district.
No.
boundary.
No. It's on that field.
Didn't we put that in the business district?
I don't think we put that in.
It's a weird shape.
No, I thought it goes around.
I think it goes around that.
Yeah, I don't believe it is.
Their,
Of course, we will double check that.
Double check, because that would allow
Their
business district
section.
funds to be used for that.
their section is in,
It's not in the business district. I got just told.
I don't know.
I think if it benefits our city and they're bringing something else in, let's
And-
do it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's something that's benefiting the, we don't have 9 million businesses knocking down our
It's
streets
gonna be an
to come to Lebanon.
aspect of Lebanon, yes.
And it will have, I'm sure, a lot of water and sewer bills. I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a destination. Center, and that's what we need, are more destination places.
Well, as we get
And
more
McHenry.
numbers, we need to get more numbers.
Well, we have to have the number before we do it, yeah.
Sure.
Right, no, but I wanted to bring it to you, give them they're here, I wanted to give them an idea of what we're trying to help them with. McKendree University is working with them for their sand volleyball practices. So McKendree's behind them, we just they need some sewer.
All about it.
So I would like it on next week's agenda to discuss and be thinking about. If I get some numbers beforehand, I will certainly pass them out.
And
Yeah, couple things. I know you guys had talked about wanting to open in April. If you're putting a city main there, there's a permit process along with the IDOT. So you have to get an EPA permit, it has to be engineered. There's the likelihood of getting that in now is not gonna happen before your April deadline. So if that's what you're looking at, then.
no,
that's
we're
probably-
probably past that at this point.
Yeah, so that's probably several months out, right? Because you're probably at least 3 months in for a EPA permit. And then, the other thing to keep in mind is that you've not done this in the past for a business, fairly recently. So, just keep that in mind for, your decision. I'm all for the business. I'm all up for helping them. We can, the development of, having it across the street to then be able to develop the properties beside them. The other thought with considering the TIF 2 is it something that then could be done at the time that the second, the TIF goes in and then have them build and get the money back for it. A lateral does not have to be permitted. It only has to be an IDOT permit. So it would be a quicker process to go, yes, more expensive for you, would not allow for the development right now of the other property, but it would be a quicker process to get the lateral across than it will to be a city sewer main.
So just something else to keep in mind as we're moving forward with that.
Difference in the, what is the, I'm sorry, I don't know the difference of like what the lateral will be versus
A
the.
lateral just means you're going to run a private line from, just like a house, like from your house, from there to the sewer. Which is what we were talking about
Right.
all of this time, just running the line over there.
And we had a quote from Schultz, it was $92,000, which would stop our business production at this point. So, I've talked to I called Trenton, O'Fallon and Muscuda. All of their, either an ordinance or city council members have said that it is their duty to bring the sewer to the property line of the businesses and homes coming in to town. So, that's just,
Your 92,000 was
that's
going all the way.
that was under the road, all the way, $92,000. I mean, that's a big bill.
What was, and that's gonna
Did you have
be,
an estimate from the building to your property line? No, not yet, because we just didn't know what,
Yeah.
what to expect.
the biggest portion of that cost, I would think, is getting under the highway.
Yeah,
The difference also would be more expense for the main line because you're gonna have to have a manhole set on both sides. So that's additional cost as well. And then do we even know for sure that there's a depth there that is adequate at this point to get over
I
there?
don't know.
Because those have not even been, I have the map here that shows some depth and we had talked about depths before. So initially there at least has to be a grade shot to make sure that it's even accessible to them without a pump.
Good information.
I think we need to do whatever we gotta do to help them so we don't lose another business.
Well, the potential is that we can get other businesses in the area,
Right.
for the other properties.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
That's-
We sit around and we do all this stuff and we don't consider the fact that there may be more than one of whatever's going in. And we've got to plan ahead. If we don't plan ahead, it only gets more expensive.
Yeah. If we are going to have to be pushed out for months and months, Creekside will not open. So. We're broke. Yeah, we're already going broke, waiting on permits from this person and, the excavators don't even want to work with us at this point because we can't get a straightforward answer on where this is or what, everybody's confused, so it would just be great to everybody try to get together and work together and, if we continue to push out, Creekside will just have to have for sale sign back in it, so. And that would be very unfortunate for everybody involved, including the city, because I think this is gonna be a really great addition and bring a lot of tax money to town and really big sewer bills and, I would think this is gonna be a wonderful addition for town, so it'd be horrible to see that happen.
I think the other possibility, if we want to look into, getting this over there for them to, have on their side of the road and be good for expansion, would be to talk to the county, because years ago in Oak Grove, if you remember Oak Grove subdivision, the sewer didn't get put in. You might have been here at the time, didn't get put in time. They already built the house. So we actually had to use the pump station as basically a big tank, and we pumped out of it every other day to keep those houses, the first couple of houses. So maybe there's a possibility that the county would work to use the existing septic tank for a designated period of time until we could, get it over
But then
there,
who would,
something
who
else.
would pump that, would that be?
Well, the septic tank will work for,
Okay.
I mean, it's not, they're saying it's not going to work for an extended period of time, but
Yeah.
will it work for the first 3 months of your business?
Yeah.
Will it work for 6 months of your business? It's something else to talk with
Well, I
them
think
about as the city to say, hey,
Yeah,
this is something we're looking at. I mean, it would have been great had we known this in the beginning and
Right.
could have started this
right.
6 months
We just
ago.
got from the county, it's not been from London, the county's given us a lot of conflicting.
Yeah,
you know.
so St. Clair County, a rule that I didn't know either, because we haven't had businesses here, is that if they're within 1,000 feet of a sewer, then they have to tie on. A home's 300, and that's all I've ever dealt with, so, they are within 1,000 feet. Had not been here when that sewer was put in, our maps don't show the sewer there. So, if the county didn't even have that map initially, so, but they are saying, run it all the way down to the other end of Martin Brower, they don't really care where it is, get there. So anyway, just something else to think about as we look into this more and how to fund it, how to, work with the county to see if there's any leeway on their point to give us some more time so that they can open at an earlier date. And then also with, another tip, maybe there's something that can.
So it looks like there just needs to be right now a lot of discussions and talking and getting permits ready, permit process ready.
Basically Monday needs to be a decision of do we even want to move forward, because then if the city is gonna pay for engineering to even see if it's a feasible thing to do, and that's something that's gonna need to be voted on, because that's
So we
not
need an
something
estimate of the engineering as soon as possible. On the things that the city's gonna do, because we can move every 2 weeks. We can do something every other week.
And then the other thing, today, I also had a phone call from the farmer. Farmer's gonna want crop damage. He's not gonna want us in his field once crops planted. He wants to know what's going on. He has heard rumors and.
I've called him personally myself, by the way, so I don't know why he thinks anything's rumor.
And, he just wants to know what's going on. Are
I
we
told him
putting
we have
us?
no clue
are
yet.
we- That's exactly what I told him
Yeah,
today.
I've
But,
said the answer.
I mean, he
Jeff.
just wants somebody to be a contact with him to say, hey, we know we're moving forward. It's probably gonna be after April, and, you probably are gonna have crop damage, and
I mean, do you have to get an easement for that since it's the city's sewer tap on his property? How does that work?
yeah.
Yeah. just-
We would have to have an easement, we'd have to have an easement going across to there should already be an easement for the main, and I think the
Okay.
rest is right away for the state, so.
Is going to Martin Brower just not possible at all? Like going down this way instead of going this way?
We figure 1,800 feet.
Okay.
Martin Brower sewer is only 4 foot deep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're not getting into that sewer gravity. You could pump down there. You could, you put a pump station in, but then you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars
Right.
for a pump station.
So what do we need to do as the council so we don't drag this out to Christmas? Cause they got like 3 months
Yeah.
from what it sounds like, and they're gonna go belly up and we just lost another business.
Well, we need to get all the information.
It kind of sounds like they're, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, whatever stuff. I mean, they're wanting,
Yeah.
you're kind of asking in a way for help from the city if it's
Yeah.
possible, right?
I mean, we will totally take care of our end on our side. It would just be great to meet us in the middle and just bring it to the property line.
Awesome.
You know,
What's wrong
that's,
with you?
we have what, 300?
So we don't lose the business.
Sewer line installed. We had a quote done for $92,000, and he said that would cover the sewer going under to Lebanon. So I would guess cut that in half or less, because our side is a lot bigger than yours. So, I'm not sure, but,
The expenses under the highway.
that was Schultz, that guy from Millside. He said 92. So, and that was for the whole project. That was for our side and Lebanon side.
But that's for a lateral, that's not for a
Is that
sewer
what that
main.
is? Okay.
So there's gonna be more expense, a bigger line, manhole, it will be a bigger expense for, the city portion going under the highway if we make it a city main.
Does the water sewer have that in the budget, or not in the budget, but do they have funds to pay for something like that?
The mayor says yes through Michelle. I have not talked to Michelle nor the mayor, either one, until this meeting about any funding.
Okay. Because I asked earlier, because I'm finance now, or so I understand that this water sewer has like $2 million in
It's a sewer.
the sewer, okay, the sewer then, whatever. And they have like $1 million in CDs or something. Is that true?
There is money in CDs. That's how we're able to get loans here as a city to begin with, because, and plus we have a $12 million loan to pay back. So it's not like we just have money sitting there that we can do whatever with. But I mean, there are projects that if we need them, yes, we need to look at doing those, but it's not like you just say, oh, well, yeah, we have $2 million and we can just spend all that $2 million, because we have to have money. The loan that we have from the EPA, they looked at that. They looked at that money that was sitting in those funds and said, okay, that's why you can have this loan.
I think we seriously need to look into finding some way, because we lost
Yeah.
Dollar Tree, we lost
Yes, sir.
ginger ale and
Yeah, I'm
some
not,
other places.
not
because-
saying don't do it. I'm
No,
just saying,
okay,
just by saying $2 million in those accounts, just don't look at that like you can spend that $2 million, because that's not, some of those funds are already.
They're collateral. We have to, basically, they're collateral. Being attached to they're
Yeah,
kind of
but
a,
I mean, we can, you know, if we plan for them, we plan for them. I mean, we need to.
we can replace the
business here
funds.
For sure.
We can replace the funds over a longer period of time and they have them available and they can be replaced eventually.
Sean, the answer to your question, I think, is Monday night, we need a vote by you all to say, hey, get the engineering, get the cost estimate. And then-
Everyone be
and
here
then we'll go-
Monday, we gonna vote.
And then we're gonna go from there.
But wait a minute, who's gonna draw up all these, plans?
Would you like us
Well,
to
the
contact
engineer will.
The engineer.
Well, do you know what I mean? Are you
No.
paying for it or are they paying for it?
What,
The city has to pay for it.
for the
City would
engineer,
pay for it.
cost of doing business.
Yes.
And this
Well,
is
they
business.
there anyway, so.
That area needs to be developed eventually.
No, okay.
Sewer
Why
has
you
to
put it
go
off? The
eventually.
more expensive it's gonna get.
Okay, so next week we'll have information to vote on. And who's gonna put that on the agenda?
You're not gonna have the information to vote on because you're gonna have to say you want to vote on and that moving forward, and then I would
That's
go
what
to
we
the,
need. is
then I will go to the engineer and say, hey, we need, this is the area, this is the map that we have, this is the depth. First, we need a shot to see if it's even gonna.
So we have to have it on the agenda so we can make a motion to
Exactly.
move forward with the project. That funds will come from either water, sewer, or another source.
We'll have,
Well, it comes from sewer.
Sewer,
we'll have engineering, I have some engineering left in my budget, I believe, I'd have to look at it tomorrow, but.
and then we can always revise the budget and move a few dollars here and there. Plus, some of this is gonna be coming out of fiscal 26 budget.
Well, most all of it will, other than the engineering would be out of this year's probably, but the rest of it would all be in a future budget.
Yeah, either fiscal 26 or fiscal 27. So we have some time, but we don't have time.
We don't have any time.
We don't know.
Okay,
We need to work.
let's get that on the agenda for next week. And
We'll be there.
we'll be
Be
there,
there, be square. Over here.
be there.
We're allowed to be here, so we need.
Get it on the agenda. Is there any other new business? Is there any other new business? I want you all to make sure you look at the letter received from the chief. Because there are some things there that will require potentially some ordinance changes. In order to be able to make them effective, if you want to make them effective, or just ignore them. I wouldn't ignore all of them. He made some
Oh,
recommendations.
yeah. Okay.
So that letter from the chief, make sure you look at that. I'll check out the firearm ordinance. Is there any other business?
No.
We are adjourned because.
I'm leaving, I'm running away.
Yeah, we done this.